Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the ACHA Power Play. We are live right here on 12 Ounce Sports and, of course, on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. Glad you could be with us here on this Tuesday, April the 2nd, 2024, as we get set here for another great edition of the Captain Lou Extravaganza. As, again, we're looking... kind of what we're going to do here today is kind of wrap up our 2024 ACHA season here with a look at a couple of more championship runs here. As scheduled to join us here in a few moments will be the head coach of the Adrian Bulldogs Women's Division I National Champions, and that's their head coach, Clarke. A great run for them as they captured their first national championship. And then, of course, coming up at the bottom of the hour, scheduled to join us, will be Ken Gaffney. He is the head coach of Lawrence Tech. The Blue Devils, with their first ever national championship, men's Division III, a thrilling win for them, a great run through pool play as well. So a great show planned for you here tonight. Glad you could be with us here on 12 Ounce Sports and, of course, the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. You can follow us on all of our platforms, YouTube, Facebook. Follow us on the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page, 12 Ounce Sports. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channels, which are 12 Ounce Sports and also the Captain Lou Sports Network. X, Instagram, you name it. We're on it. That is here on the ACHA Power Play here on 12 Ounce Sports. Our show brought to you as always by tickets.12ouncesports.com. We are your ticket broker. You can get tickets at the best prices around. And so make sure you check out tickets.12ouncesports.com. And we're also brought to you by Javi Coffee. If you're an instant coffee lover or a coffee lover in general and you want it quick, you want it easy, very neat, very clean, check out javicoffee.com. Great flavors. And of course, when you get there and you get to checkout, make sure you use the promo code Captain Lou for 15% off of your purchase. That, of course, is javicoffee.com. Again, great show planned for you tonight. Coming up in a few moments, scheduled to join us at 7:05 will be Clarke, the head coach of the Adrian Bulldogs women's D1 team. A great run for them to the national championship at the D1 level. Their first championship. You know, it's a gauntlet just at the D3. All 5 divisions is a gauntlet in their own right. This one, of course, we've got single elimination at the D1 level. Well, the first couple of rounds are double elimination, bracketed style, but you don't have the pool play. So realistically, you get one loss, and then you get a second chance, and then that's it. And Adrian won their opening game and then went right through without a loss. We're able to make it right with in very impressive style. We'll chat with Carter here shortly on that. Hopefully we can get him hooked up with that. Also, at the bottom of the hour, we mentioned Ken Gaffney joining us, the head coach of Lawrence Tech, as they of course, had a great run through pool play. A little nerve-wracking in that third game in pool play against Arkansas, but, they were able to get through that and, of course, make it through the semis and the championship game. Another showdown for the two Michigan teams in the pool play action there in the championship game, rather, at D3, but they were able to make it through without any problems. So congratulations to them. And again, we'll have Ken on at the bottom of the hour. A little program reminder for next week will be our wrap-up show for the ACHA Power Play. Our 8th season will be coming to a close here on 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network. We'll pick it back up right after Labor Day as the season kind of steps aside, takes a deep breath, kind of recollects, if you will. So the ACHA Power Play, our final edition for season number 8, will be next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. So we invite you to check that out as well. So we will have kind of a look back at the season and as a whole. The 5 championships, again, we'll run down. We'll have excerpts of our interviews with all 5 of the teams that won the national championships, of course, Adrian College in men's Division I and women's Division I. And, of course, the D2 level with Indiana with their first championship at the D1 at the D2 level. And, of course, Sioux College, the only back-to-back champions now, as they defended their crown with an impressive run as well through pool play at the women's D2 level, and then an equally impressive win, avenging a loss earlier in the year to Assiniboine, but they were able to bounce back and win that in that championship game by the score of 3-0. So, yeah, so there you go. We'll revamp everything real quick in the ACHA Power Play next Tuesday. That'll be our final show of the season. And again, we'll pick it up for season number 9 coming up right after Labor Day. So make sure that you check that out. And we'll continue to do the Captain Lou Extravaganza throughout the summer, of course. But we'll pick this one back up. We'll pick up the 9th season of the ACHA Power Play after next week's show. That'll be right after. I want to say it's right around September 15th, somewhere in that area. Right, what we'll keep you updated on, of course, on all of our media platforms, our social media platforms that we have here on 12 Ounce Sports. So there we go. Again, glad you could be with us here on the Captain Lou on the ACHA Power Play. As we apologize. Apparently, we're not on Twitter live at the moment, but we are on our other media platforms. So make sure you check us out on Facebook, the 12 Ounce Sports, or the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page, or our YouTube channels, which is 12 Ounce Sports, and of course, the Captain Lou Sports Network. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We were scheduled to be joined by Carter Clarke. I'll see if we can't pick him back up here. We'll see if we can get a hold of him. I know sometimes the magic of live television, but we'll see what we can do. You're watching the Captain Lou, or the ACHA Power Play, right here live on 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network.
Do you need tickets? We have you covered. We have soccer from anywhere in the world. Any venue from any sports. That means we have college and professional football. We have baseball at every level. We have every Power 5 matchup. Remember, costumes and paints are optional. You want to see Broadway? We have them too. We have every concert from every artist. We have you covered at tickets.12ouncesports.com. Tickets for less.
You caught me. Still trying to effort Carter Clarke, the head coach of Adrian College, scheduled to join us here tonight at 7:05. Apparently, we are having an issue trying to get a hold of him. Hopefully, he'll be able to join the program. If not, maybe we can try to effort him next week. But again, those things happen. Life happens. We sometimes miss our schedule or miss whatever. But Carter Clarke, the head coach of Adrian College, scheduled to join us. But what we can do is we can go through kind of their season, as we mentioned here. The women's team, they've come close a few times at the D1 level for the ACHA. And with tournament runs, I know the last time they're in the championship game, I want to say was back in 2018 against Liberty. And Liberty was able to beat Adrian College, and that started Liberty's incredible run of 5 straight national championships. And so, again, they what's the word I'm looking for? For Liberty, with that incredible run, we're looking for their 6th straight run to the national championship, but unfortunately for them, ran into a buzzsaw that was Minot State. Minot looking to get to the mountaintop as well. That's who Adrian ended up beating in the national tournament championship game. But Adrian's first championship appearance was against Liberty, as we mentioned, back in 2018, fell just short. Then every year, they would get to the national tournament, couldn't quite get to the mountaintop. Last year, a couple of heartbreaking losses, But this year with Adrian they were starting out as a 3rd seed in the national tournament, and they took on with their opening game. Let's see if we can't figure with their opening game in the national tournament, they took on Arizona State, a very, very game Arizona State team. And it was amazing what they were able to accomplish, that being Arizona State. But Adrian College, to get to, before they got to that, they had a very, very interesting run with the CCWHA tournament, as they were able to win that tournament in 3 straight games. But it started out with a rather decent victory against against Lake Superior State, a 5-0, or check that, a 3-0 win over Lake Superior State. Then they took on University of Michigan Dearborn. And the crazy thing about Adrian in their CCWHA tournament, they weren't even the number 1 seed. That went to University of Michigan Dearborn. And Dearborn, they took them on, and they were able to defeat Dearborn by the score of 3-1. So that set up a championship matchup with the number 1 seed in the Western Conference of the CCWHA, and that was Indiana Tech. And Indiana took Adrian all the way right to the end with a 3-2 win in triple overtime. Adrian was able to come up with that victory. Ashton Stitt was got the game winner right about in the end of the 3rd overtime. So Adrian, battle-tested to say the least. We're hoping maybe to get one of the top 2 seeds, but unfortunately for them, they couldn't. And they were only able to get the 3rd seed, only, I should say. But of course, obviously, when you come to the women's Division I tournament, we mentioned it's bracketed. 10 teams go in. The top 2 seeds get buys all the way to the quarterfinal game. And so that meant that it was 3 through 10, 4 through 9, 5 through 8, and 6 through 7. So for Adrian, opening night of women's tournament play, they took on Arizona State. And it was a pretty exciting, it was actually a scoreless game through the opening period. Then they were able to get a power play goal about 9 minutes into the 2nd period. And then what I consider probably the backbreaker in that game against Arizona State was a goal at 19:17. And so it actually, Mackenzie Villiard with that goal at 19:17 really kind of opened up the doors, made it a 2-0 lead after the 1st period. Then in the 3rd period, kind of dominated. You could tell, I don't know if Arizona State had the sea legs or whatever, but they were able to beat that. They got goals at 10:07 and at 10:23, 16 seconds apart to make it 4-0. And then they got a goal on the power play from Sydney White to make it 5-0. 51-15, the shots on goal were the shot differential. And, you got to give credit to Arizona State for Quinn Eatinger. I'll tell you what, she had such a tournament, just an amazing tournament. We'll talk about that momentarily. So Adrian was able to win that game 5-0. So they avoided having to go through the losers bracket round. So they got to go into the 2nd round of the tournament, and they ended up with a win. They ended up taking on, let's see if I can, sorry, we're having a little bit of technical issue here. So in their 2nd matchup, they ended up taking on Michigan Dearborn in a rematch of that game in the conference tournament where they won 3-1. And they made no doubt about who was going to win this one. 3 goals in the opening period, 3:03, 8:40, and 17:16. A power play goal by Allison Shaw, Ashlyn Stitt, Kira Eagleson, the 1st period goals. Then in the 2nd, they got 5 more goals. It was 8-0 after 2 periods of play. Gave up the goal in the 3rd period to Nicole Hahn to make it 8-1. But it kind of, you could tell from the get-go, they kind of had Michigan Dearborn all out of sorts. Dearborn coming off in a very emotional win against Michigan to make it into the next round. And so it was there where Michigan Dearborn was able to beat Adrian College was able to beat Michigan Dearborn by the score of 8-1. So that brought the game next against Midland University. And actually, that was the quarterfinal game. I beg your pardon. That brought us to their game against Adrian College and Midland University in the semifinal round on the 16th. Midland College ranked number 2. These teams have all played each other. That's kind of the beauty. And the Division I of women's ACHA really was, it's it's so close, so even with these teams ranked really from 1 to 10. It really is. And so I am so amazed at how close these games really were. And so it's the close the teams were. The rankings throughout the year. I know Adrian spent a couple of weeks at number 1. It was and you had Midland at number 1. You had Liberty at number 1. All three of them. For the most part, it was Liberty and Midland 1 and 2 throughout the year. But until the third period, towards the end of the year, Liberty pretty much was able to hang on to the number 1 spot. So fast forward to the championship game, it was number 2 Midland against number 3 Adrian. And we knew that what Adrian had as far as the skill level, Midland was one of the quicker teams. I remember watching them from last year in the quarterfinals and in the tournament run. But Adrian was not to be denied in this one. 13-17, they got a power play goal from Haley Wiltshire. And then at 17-26, another power play goal. I mean, that's when you're going up against an Adrian power play on the women's side, it's pretty tough to overcome. And when you get down 2-0 against a high-powered team like that. But I think the backbreaker, it was funny, though. After that goal, it looked like Midland was really starting to gain a little bit of the momentum, pressuring towards the net. Couldn't get really anything, past Chloe Burt, who had a heck of a run as the goaltender for Adrian College. But then in the second period, Allison Shaw got that second period goal, 15 seconds in, right out of the chute, and it was 3-0. Then they got, Midland got a goal to make it 3-1, but you could kind of tell when it was 3-0, just the air just sunk out of the sails. It kind of looked like that in the first period, where Midland was kind of, after they gave up that goal, they looked like they were on their heels a little bit. Then, like I said, they got a little bit of the momentum back, but then that goal 15 seconds into the second period just kind of really took the wind out of the sails of Midland. Like I said, they were able to get the goal to make it 3-1, but then Kira Eggleston got the goal to make it 4-1 going into the third period. Midland made it close, getting a couple of goals at 10:08 and 13:28 in the third period, and it looked like maybe they were gaining a little bit of momentum back, but they pulled the goaltender with about 3 minutes to go in the game, I believe it was, and then it was Haley Wiltshire getting the empty net goal to make it 5-3, and that just was too much for Midland. So Adrian able to get back to the national championship game for the first time since 2018, and they were able to now await the winner of Liberty and Minot State. Liberty coming off such an emotional win the night before, taking on an Arizona State team. Now, Arizona State was the 10th seeded team, highest seeded team in the tournament. And again, they lost to Adrian 5-0. Then they won the next day, were able to beat McKendree to get to the quarterfinal against Liberty. And boy, did they put on a show. Liberty, the number 1 seed. Arizona State, the 10 seed. And for all intents and purposes, on paper, it looked like it might be a fairly easy game for Liberty. But I tell you, Quinn Eatinger played a game for the ages. 73 saves, I think she had, out of 76 shots. Incredible. Liberty jumped out to a 1-0 lead. Arizona got 2 quick goals to make it 2-1. And then Liberty pulled the goaltender with about 3 minutes left, 2.5 minutes left, drew a penalty, tied it up, but then they went to overtime. And Liberty ended up winning 3-2 in overtime. And holy cow, there we go. It's set up for a semifinal rematch of the championship game from last year between Liberty and Minot State. And you talk about goaltending. Quinn Eatinger was a heck of a goaltender. Couldn't quite hold on. But then it was going to be Haley Beaver's night for Minot State against Liberty. and again in overtime there as well. What can you say about the game for Minot State against Liberty? Just absolutely amazing with what took place in that one. As it again, we look at it and just I'm trying to pull up that in double overtime, where it appeared it was heading for triple overtime in that game. But what a setup on the play on the second overtime. Cameron Schmidt from McKenna Beard. She was parked right out in front of the net. Not a whole lot that Alexander Keith could do for Liberty. She had 40 saves. But again, Haley Beaver, 70 saves, 71 shots. Liberty threw 147 shots in 2 games and couldn't escape to get to the championship game. 2-1 was the final score. So that's set up for the championship game with Liberty and with Minot State and Adrian. Both teams, neither one of them, able to win a championship game, going for the first championship game. Minot and again, Adrian College, Macy Pache gets the opening goal, 16-17 in the opening period, her third goal of the tournament. And she got assists from Tess McCarroll and Kaylee Forster. And then in the second period, Riley Ball got the power play goal to make it 1-1. And I thought, here we go. Boy, this is going to come right down to the wire. But again, Adrian College able to strike quick at the beginning or the end of the period. And it's amazing. We talk about this all the time. You talk to any coach. The toughest things to give up are a goal in the last minute or a goal in the first minute of a period. Tyler Turnbull, 35 seconds in to the third period, put Adrian College up 2-1, and then Macy Pache at 4:10 with a blast. What a shot by Macy Pache to make it 3-1, an insurmountable lead as they were able to get a fourth goal of the tournament from Tyler Turnbull at 15:35, and that gave it a 4-1 victory for Adrian College. And they indeed are the ACHA Women's D1 champions. First championship. It's kind of hard to believe if you think about it, the success that Adrian College has had at the women's level, constantly winning, constantly getting to the national championship. But there's just one problem. They've run into the buzzsaw, the dynasty that was Liberty. And the storyline going into the national tournament at the women's D1 level was, can Liberty win a 6th straight championship? And I've never seen a team. We'll talk about this more next week as we, break down all 5 divisions one more time as we wrap up the ACHA power play. But when you're going for a 6th straight championship and the 2 goaltenders you face, you throw 71 and 76 shots at them and you can only score 4 goals or 3 goals in 147 shots. Absolutely incredible. So not from a lack of effort, that's for sure. And Chris Lowe's team has nothing to be ashamed of. But in the end, the light was shining on Adrian College as they were able to beat Minot State and win their first women's national championship at the D1 level. And so I think this was the first time since 2010 that the men's D1 and the women's D1 championships both came from the same school. And as we mentioned, the state of Michigan right now, they're the kings and queens of the ACHA. 3 of the 5 championships have come from the state of Michigan. And of course, the third one with the Lawrence Tech Blue Devils in D3. And we'll be talking with head coach Ken Gaffney here in about 6 minutes. They'll jump on the program as well. And we'll talk a little D3 hockey with him here on the ACHA Power Play. So again, we apologize. We must have had some type of mix-up of communication with Carter Clarke not coming on the show. We apologize for his absence. Maybe we can try to effort him for next week on our wrap-up show. We'll see what we can do for that. But we apologize for that. We hope we're able to give you the rundown. But again, what really impressed me about Adrian was just able to take control. I think they were close one game. It was tied going into the second or third period. Of course, the big matchup with Minot State, both teams looking for their first championship, and the Bulldogs were able to pull it out. So the Adrian women's Bulldogs, the ACHA Women's D1 National Champions. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll get you set up for the bottom of the hour, and Ken Gaffney from Lawrence Tech, the Blue Devils, the men's ACHA D3 National Champions. He's scheduled to join us right here on the Power Play. So don't go anywhere. You're watching the ACHA Power Play. It's live, and it's here on 12 Ounce Sports. And we're back on Twitter, by the way. I don't know what happened there. Louis Luck, I guess. Captain Lou Luck here today. It's been one of those days for me, so I'm not surprised we had a little hiccup with X. I should say, not Twitter, X. But anyways, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the ACHA Power Play. It's live here on 12 Ounce Sports.
Do you need tickets? We have you covered. We have soccer from anywhere in the world. Any venue from any sports. That means we have college and professional football. We have baseball at every level. We have every Power 5 matchup. Remember, costumes and paints are optional. You want to see Broadway? We have them too. We have every concert from every artist. We have you covered at tickets.12ouncesports.com. Tickets for less.
Yes, we do have you covered here at tickets.12ouncesports.com. It's a great site, too. It's a great way to get tickets to watch a ball game. And I know with the minor league baseball season coming up, major league season, shout out to our Detroit Tigers, 4-0, baby. That's check out tickets.12ouncesports.com. I know we'll have tickets for the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you might even be able to find some Final Four tickets for this weekend, men's or women's, so on the basketball side. And I know we'll probably have tickets, too, for the Frozen Four coming up next week. And by the way, shout out to the Centene Center, the host of the West Regional. Contrary to all the complaining that was done by all the beat writers for Michigan and Michigan State hockey, it was a pretty cool looking scene on Sunday night for Michigan and Michigan State at the home of the ACHA National Championships. That's the Centene Ice Center. They were draped all around the upper part of the bowl. So congratulations to the Centene Center. By the way, we'll be back there for the 2025 ACHA National Championships as well. You're watching the ACHA Power Play. It's live here on 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network. Both our YouTube channels and, of course, on X, Facebook, you name it, Twitch, Instagram. We're there. We're live. We're here with you. It's great to be back with Jeff and the boys here on our 8th season of the ACHA Power Play live here on 12 Ounce Sports. And a reminder, we're also brought to you by Javi Coffee. If you're an instant coffee lover or a coffee lover in general like me, hot or cold, you got to check out Javi Coffee. It's clean. It's easy. You don't have to worry about coffee grounds or anything measuring that. You take 1 or 2 teaspoons, put it in your hot mug or your ice cold mug. Regular decapped, Irish cream. That's the new latest, greatest flavored, salted caramel, French vanilla, you name it. That's javicoffee.com. And when you're there, use the promo code Captain Lou for 15% off of your purchase. That is javicoffee.com. Again, use that promo code Captain Lou for 15% off your purchase at checkout. The ACHA Power Play, we're kind of wrapping up the season with the 2024 National Tournament. 5 championships, 3 for the men, 2 for the women, 4 brand new champions this year. On the men's side, the D1, their 3rd championship in 6 years, but a new champion. That's Adrian College on the men's side. D2, Indiana with their first championship as they defeated Miami. And on D3, it was Lawrence Tech beating Grand Valley in another matchup of 2 Michigan Collegiate Hockey Conference powers, Lawrence Tech and Grand Valley. So again, Michigan reigning supreme in Division III at the ACHA level, the MCHC, again, the premier conference in all of ACHA hockey. And on the women's side at the D1 level, of course, we had, we just mentioned ACH with Adrian College winning their first national championship with an impressive win over Minot State. And our defending champion, the only champion, repeat champion this year, with Liberty bowing out at the D1 level for the women, that being Sioux College with an impressive run of their own through pool play. And of course, with an impressive win over Dakota College on the opening day. And then with a win, a shutout win over Assiniboine here on Tuesday, or at the championship, on championship Saturday for the women's D2. So Sioux College back-to-back women's champions in women's in Division II of the ACHA. So, all right, we again hoping to be joined here shortly by Ken Gaffney, the head coach of Lawrence Tech, their Division III national champions, as we'll talk to him about their championship run. I been fortunate enough to get to know Ken over the years, and know it's such a fine job that he's done over the years with the men's team at D1 and of course D3. As we've got just an amazing run watching him finally get to the top of the mountain. And I think without any further ado, let's see if we can't bring him in. Hi, Ken. How are you?
Lou, I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Excited to spend some time with you this evening.
Yeah.
I also have one of our assistant coaches, Coach Mike Wynick, with us tonight.
Awesome. That's great to hear. So, all right, Ken, I got to ask you, has the feeling worn off finally getting to the top of the mountain?
You know what? What a great feeling for the program, for our coaching staff. Just excited to have that type of success 3 years in a row at the national tournament, and finally we're able to bring it home for our students and our fan base at LTU.
Ken, like you mentioned, you've been there a few times, and I know how hard you've worked to build that program up. But I was watching you, as the ticks, as the final seconds wore off, and you were able to get out on the ice. The look that came to mind to me for you out there was a look of being proud and satisfaction of watching the young men celebrate. You just looked you could just see you were beaming with pride.
Yeah, I think those are two good words. Pride, proud of the accomplishment and what the players did, and just excitement. And out on the ice, like any team when they win a championship, it's crazy, it's fun, it's genuine, and just seeing a lot of the players crying, hugging each other, taking selfies and photos, just real exciting. I can remember kind of shortly after, one of our players, Daniel, FaceTimed his mom from back home, and she was crying back home along with Daniel, our player, and just a great moment for these young men and for our program.
So I got to ask you, what you and I have talked about this in the past, though, Ken, but you come from, without a doubt, the most dominant Division III conference in the country. What's been the secret to the success, not only with you guys, but with everybody else in your conference in this tournament over the last 15 years?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I don't think at any level within the ACHA there's a conference as dominant as the MCHC. What a great testament to the quality players throughout all of our 15 teams. Each year, as you know, Lou, a number of MCHC teams populate the national tournament. This year, I believe we had 5. Yep. Last year, 8. Many of the years, there's all 4 in the Frozen Four. I think this year we had 3 MCHC teams here this year. So what a great conference, all led by outstanding hockey coaches, a lot of veteran hockey coaches in the MCHC, both in the West and the East Division. And anybody that comes out of the MCHC is prepared for the national tournament.
So
it shows.
You guys, you had a good run through the regular season, obviously playing in that conference, and then, I know you would have liked to win the Vezina Cup. It's always a tough tournament. I don't care what anybody says. Going through that gauntlet, I've watched it enough times. Did you guys, and you as a coaching staff, can use that loss to help motivate you at all, or was it just something that you just put away as you got ready for the national tournament?
No, I don't think we ever put it away. That loss hurt.
Yeah.
It was one of the items on our table to achieve as an objective throughout the season. Our players wanted it very much. We felt we played an exceptional game of hockey.
Yeah.
And we just didn't get the outcome that we were looking for. So no, I don't think we'll forget that one. And I think it's true. Anytime you face adversity, you certainly can learn from it and take advantages out of it. But we won't soon forget that one.
So let's get to the national tournament, and either one of you can answer this. But what impressed, you jumped out to a big lead, and how tough is it to keep the fellas motivated, without looking ahead or maybe taking the foot off the gas when you had that big lead in your opening game, against St. Vincent?
Well, before I comment on any one of the games, if you'll allow me just a quick comment here.
Yeah.
The national tournament was just an outstanding experience. Our Division III Commissioner, Derek, did a great job.
Yeah.
Derek Connor. Russ Schlegel, the tournament director, worked tirelessly for weeks and weeks, including the tournament week itself. And many of the volunteers there. Ed Giacomoni with his ref staff. So just a lot of contributions and efforts from all of those people within the ACHA that made it a great experience, win or lose.
Right.
Even the last 2 years, we fell a little bit short. They still put on a great product and a great experience. But going back to your initial question, yeah, we felt our bracket was very competitive. There were a couple teams we didn't see throughout the season, so we had to do kind of a lot of scouting and research on them. And we did have a slow start in that game. But we were able to wear them down and get the outcome that we wanted. And it was really just a quality team effort from the goalie group. We played 2 goalies that night. Our defensive group was outstanding. And our forward group, as the game went on, just asserted themselves and put a lot of pressure on their opponent goalie.
So before you started the tournament, when you saw your pool and you saw Arkansas there, you got to be thinking, my God, these guys have given the Michigan Collegiate Hockey Conference team so many problems in the national tournament. I bet you kind of hoping maybe they weren't going to be in your bracket.
Yeah, when we saw them, we thought similar things. What a quality organization for many years. We knew they had great talent, and they certainly played a hell of a game against us in pool play. But I'll have Coach Mike offer some comments specifically about that third game against Arkansas.
Yeah, that third game we knew a winner or a tie would advance us. And so we prepared for a winner or a tie, whatever the situation came about. They scored first shift of the third period, and that kind of got the wheels spinning. We felt we were a goal up, but now we're a goal down. So we knew once we got even, we were going to shut it down. We were going to make it as hard as it was to get in our defensive zone and even harder to get shots to the net. And it was a true team effort that night. We celebrated it like it was a win because it was a win for us. We advanced, and that's what we set out to do. But they made us work for everything. Their goalie played an outstanding game. Our guys just came through when we needed it to. Last 30 seconds, we had a kid take the puck in their corner and hold it for about 25 seconds.
Yeah.
That kind of sealed the deal. And when you see stuff like that, the little things that get our bench excited, it just speaks to our team culture and what we built.
Well, that's funny you bring that up, Mike, because I just happened to be able to watch your overtime. And the two things that you brought up, the defense, it was like all of a sudden a different gear came out. The way you guys played shutdown defense in that overtime. And I was right in the corner where he had that pinned up against the boards. And you could see that look like, I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting it go, man. His head started turning. And it made me laugh as I'm watching it. I'm sure you guys were a little nervous, but it made me laugh when I was watching that. It was kind of funny.
I don't think the word nervous comes to mind, in that we prepare all year for those moments. And we knew, given that situation, that our guys were going to come through. They've done it all year. And that just is a testament to them. They showed they wanted that. And, we could have went out and tried to score a goal, but we said, hey, we're the best in the country at defending. We're the best in the country at not allowing shots in our house. We have the best goalies in the country, and we're going to ride that out. And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah. Guys, very impressed. You talk about goaltending. You know, it's amazing. And Ken, you and I have talked about this in years past. The goaltending, you got to have a tandem to be successful in these pool play scenarios because you're going to play 5 games, you know, in 5 or 6 days. And it just, they stood out. And that's what the great teams always have it, great goaltending. And, you know, Timothy towards the end really stood out and played extremely well.
I agree with you, Lou. And we actually have 4 outstanding goalies within our D3 program. And I don't know this to be true, but I would wager on it. We played 3 of our 4 goalies at the national tournament. I don't know if that's ever been done before. And truthfully, as we went from game 1 to game 2 into game 3, advancing into semis, we felt confident in any one of those 3 goalies. And I think Tim played outstanding as the tournament progressed, but Owen and Griffin could have easily been in the net for the semis and the finals, and could have produced the same outcome as Timmy. So we're blessed with great goaltending, and they were dominant all season as well as in the national tournament.
So when you get to the semifinals or in a situation like that, guys, is it just, you know, is the scouting part of it done? You just play your own game, or do you still make any minor adjustments?
Well, we always scout. We always try to do as much reconnaissance as we can. That's just smart hockey.
Okay.
But as Mike said earlier, we feel we're well prepared coming into game weekends, coming into tournament weeks. We put in the time as a staff. We put in the time as the players. So we feel very confident, very comfortable coming in, well prepared.
Yeah.
Close, low-scoring games, tied games. Nothing really shakes us in that regard because we have confidence within our systems, confidence within our player base. So, I mean, we were ready for it. And Missouri in the semifinals, what a talented team.
Oh.
A lot of offensive firepower. And we were able to shut their key guys down throughout the entire game. And I think that made a major impact on the outcome of that game.
Oh, I agree. You know, the point I was going to ask you about that Missouri game, guys, was they came out in that second period and they threw everything at you in that span of like from, I want to say the 5-minute for about the middle 10 minutes, from the 5 to the 15-minute mark. They got the goal to tie it up. But as towards the end of that run, I could see something in your team where it's like, all right, you gave us our best. That's all you got, you know, and that mentality. And it proved to be, you know, to your advantage in the third period. You got those goals from Nick Shine and James Gents, about a minute and a half apart in the third period. And that really, to me, just kind of broke their backs.
Yeah, when you get in those type of games, Lou, you're playing really good teams, and so we didn't expect them to lay over and die or quit. So when they came at us, we were fully prepared for that. When they scored, we had a good idea that it was going to be a dogfight, and that's exactly what it was. Going into the third period, tied 1-1, I don't think we could have felt any better. That's a situation you want to be in, have the game in your control, and the way we come out in third periods is we like to attack, and that's exactly what our guys did. Once that second goal went in to make it 3-1, we felt very confident. I think whenever we get a 2-goal lead, we feel the game is ours in any situation. And, they got a nice face-off goal. And after that, we said we're going to shut it down. And I think we had a dominant defensive performance again in that semifinal to propel us to the final.
Yeah.
And that's just the mindset of our team.
And it's almost like, again, like a carbon copy. The first period in the championship game, you guys didn't even get flustered when you got down 1-0. And in the third period, the second period, you got those 2 quick goals in a flurry, in 30 seconds. I mean, it's cool when it happens for you, but you could just tell when you got that second goal, the confidence level, again, not that it wavered a lot, but it was right there. And then getting a 3-1 lead going into the third period, man, that was huge.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Lou. And again, goes back to we train that way. Our guys commit and compete in that fashion. And we're comfortable in those tight, close situations with our players.
So then you win the championship, like I said, and I saw what the great feeling that you could tell that you had on the ice. So, Ken, I got to ask you. I've asked every coach, how long before you're on the phone with recruits?
That night, actually, I was talking to a recruit back at the hotel, and you strike while the iron is hot.
Boy.
And every day since, the phone's been pretty active, and we've got a large database of quality young men that are interested in playing at Lawrence Tech, and we're always out looking for quality people to add to our program and put alongside our talented veteran players.
So what's for next year? I know you want to enjoy this, but do you have a lot of returning kids coming back next year, Ken or Mike? Is it going to be a big turnover? What's from here on April 3rd or whatever? What's it look like for next year?
Yeah, we have always good retention. Within our program, year after year, we've got guys that play the full 4 years. We have guys that take advantage of playing the 5 years. We're phasing out a lot of guys who will be finishing playing their 6th year this year.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of great retention. That's another testament to the university supports our program, gives us the resources that we need to compete at a high level. Our guys love the brotherhood within the Blue Devil hockey program. So we'll have some key players that are graduating that we'll have to replace. But as we spoke about a moment ago, we've got some quality recruits that are coming in, and we're still going to enjoy this recent success.
Oh yeah.
But we're excited to defend the title and the championship heading into next year.
I was going to say, how do you think it's going to feel in August when you're going to be now called the Hunted instead of the Hunters?
Hey, we're comfortable with that. As I said before, we prepare fiercely. We love to compete. Kind of our message heading into MCHC playoffs, certainly at the national playoffs, was we walk into that building, we own that building. That's the attitude, that's the mindset we have. And we know every night we're playing high-end quality opponents, but they have to go through us as well.
So I know this is probably a dumb question, but the format now for the national tournament, Ken, to get there, I bet you don't miss having the potential of playing in those regional qualifying tournaments, huh?
You know what? There's not too many people that remember those regional qualifiers, and they had their own excitement level for sure. It added kind of more teams into the postseason mix. But I think the way the ACHA has it now, it's probably the right way, and it's such a good experience for the teams who are able to participate.
So what are you going to do now for the summertime to kind of relax, or is there such thing as relaxing in the off season now?
We're pretty active here in April, May, doing still a lot of critical recruiting. We'll do a lot of preparation for the next year. We're looking to build out a private locker room space for both our D1 and D3 teams. So we've got a lot to take care of here, certainly in April, May, and into early June. We'll probably have a little bit of a lull as the midsummer happens, but it'll go by quick, and we'll be excited and ready to start again.
Well, guys, I know, especially Ken, I first met you back when I started doing this in 2016, and I know how hard that you've worked there, and some of the ups and downs, that we've both been through with, the old NAIA and then getting back here. And I got to tell you, you and your program there couldn't be a more well-deserving national champion for how hard you have worked over the years. And I can't tell you how happy I am for you guys, because I've watched it from afar. I've seen you come close in the last couple of years, and to see you finally get to the mountaintop is I'm really excited for you. Really, really happy for you.
Well, Lou, I appreciate that, and it means a lot coming from you because you've put in the time, just like other hockey coaches and hockey players. So I appreciate it. Certainly, the sentiments coming from you, and I'm just happy for our players. I'm happy for our program. Tomorrow, we're the university, Lawrence Tech University, is celebrating the national championship tomorrow at noon. So that's going to be great for our players to get the recognition on campus.
Yeah.
And then they'll kind of tip it off with our annual banquet on Sunday. which will have over 200 people at our hockey-only banquet to celebrate and recognize our national champs.
So, Mike, I got to ask you a question. Did Ken do any victory dances in the locker room after everything was said and done?
We did a little bit of celebrating, as we should.
Right.
And, it's more about the kids, seeing the joy on their face. And, a lot of them, that's going to be the biggest game they're going to win. And that's awesome. And a national championship is massive. And I was more happy to see the joy on their face.
Yeah.
It felt good for us, but it felt better for them to see them happy.
Well, guys, I appreciate you taking time out tonight to be with us here on the show. This is an absolute treat whenever I get to talk hockey with you guys. Enjoy the celebrations. Enjoy your summer. And I can't wait to catch back up with you once the season starts in the fall. Again, congratulations, well-deserved. And thank you again for coming on.
Thank you, Lou, and thank you for all you do for the sport of hockey, for ACHA. Keep doing what you do. We much appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, that's Lawrence Tech's head coaches Ken Gaffney and Michael Woynick coming on and sharing their experience as the national champions now at the D3 level of the ACHA men's, that is Division III. Just an impressive run throughout the year, getting to the mountaintop, first of all, as the number one ranked team in the country. You don't know how difficult that is to be ranked number one in Division III. You've got the powers like Hope College and, Grand Valley was there most of the year, and being able to attain that. And then with that goal, getting into the pool play, which, we've talked about this so many times here on the Power Play. We mentioned not having to go through regionals, which the D2 still does. How many years does a very, very good third-ranked team in a region not make it because they get bounced? To not have to survive that, but to get in there and then go through the pool play gauntlet. And that third game against Arkansas, a winner, a tie. And, they a very, very good team, but when it's that close, you're that close. That just shows you how very good they are. A tie was as good as a win, and they use that momentum to go into the semis and the finals. And again, you meet up with a team in the finals. That's kind of the beauty, like we talk about with the how good the MCHC is, the Michigan Collegiate Hockey Conference. But you're playing a team that you're familiar with in Grand Valley that you may have beaten a couple of times, and then you got to beat them again. And it's hard to beat somebody once or twice in the regular season and then have to do it a third time in the national championship game. That just shows you how great of a job that Lawrence Tech did throughout the regular season and into the tournament. So again, our congratulations to head coach Ken Gaffney and all his staff and all the players for a job well done. And again, one heck of a run. They've been close, as Ken mentioned, a couple of times, but able to get back their third straight trip to the Nationals. And third time was definitely a charm, as they are indeed the national champions in men's Division III. All right. Hey, that's going to do it here tonight for our show. Again, join us next Tuesday as we're going to do one last recap of our 8th season of the ACHA Power Play here on 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. We'll give you some highlights of the interviews we've had with all the coaches that won the national championships. We'll take a look back at some of the interesting moments during the year, and we'll get you previewed and ready to go for season number 9. It's all going to start over again. The road to St. Louis 2025 will start right around Labor Day as we all take a little hiatus here to get our game faces back ready to go for season 9 of the ACHA Power Play. So again, want to thank head coach Ken Gaffney and also want to thank assistant coach Michael Woynick for joining us here on the show. And again, we want to thank everybody that's taken time out tonight to be with us here on the ACHA Power Play. All right, everybody, we'll see you again next week for our season finale of the ACHA Power Play. Don't forget, join us tomorrow. We're going to take a look at another edition of the Captain Lou Extravaganza, same time, 7 o'clock, as we're going to be joined by Torin Subramanian He is the host of Theater of College Hoops podcast. The guy does a magnificent job in covering college basketball. I think we got something called the Final Four coming up, the men's and the women's, and of course the Frozen Four after that. So we're going to talk all about that. Talk a little Red Wings, and we'll talk about our Detroit Tigers. 4-0, baby, starting out the year. I know it's early, but as the saying goes, you can't win it in April, but you can sure lose it in April. And Detroit's doing a good job of not doing that anyway. So, but we'll have that tomorrow at 7. And then one more time, a reminder, next week will be our final show of the season of the ACHA Power Play, 7 o'clock Eastern time. All right. Again, thanks to Ken Gaffney and assistant coach Michael Woynick from Lawrence Tech for joining us, helping us celebrate their national championship at the D3 level of the ACHA. Congratulations to Lawrence Tech, your new men's ACHA Division III national champions. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. Captain Lou saying, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving. And as always, keep your minds open. Thanks for joining us here on 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network, and for joining us here on the ACHA Power Play. So long.